You are the church. You make up the church. And so one way of us really expressing that is giving you guys the opportunity to speak what God's doing in your heart and in your lives here at Lift on Wednesday nights. And so as Alyssa said, first week we heard from Faith. Last week we heard from Ben. In this particular year, we've chosen to have someone from every one of our student ministry leadership teams come forward and speak. So Faith talked from the welcome team perspective. Ben talked from what we call our care for team. And tonight, Dillon is representing the prayer team. And so we're going to talk a little bit about prayer, but also some other kind of things as well. But before we dive into that too much, I want to give Dillon an opportunity to share, because I know some of you guys just know Dillon by this face. Some of you guys have stayed at Dillon's house before because we stay there on Big Weekend.
I've been there plenty of times.
Know what his house looks like. But some of you guys just know who he is because you've seen him around, but you don't know exactly who is this cool cat, Mr. Dillon Folkner. I want to give him an opportunity to tell you a little bit about him. So Dillon, tell us, where do you go to school? What do you do in your free time?
I go to Edmond Memorial High School.
Free time because of Follies, and he doesn't have free time. So.
He is in Follies, correct?
Yes. I sing and dance very well.
So you're determined.
I spend most of my free time with my girlfriend, Kendall.
Of course.
So are you more into being in the outdoors or video games?
Oh.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm so proud.
Okay, that's fair.
'Tis the season.
So right now, what are you more into? Being outside or playing video games?
Outside.
Okay.
It's nice.
Dillon professional skateboarded one time, from what I hear. So you might ask him about that if you're into skateboarding. Okay. All right. So Dillon, tell us, when did you start coming to Lift on Wednesday nights?
My 8th grade year of middle school, because of Chuck and Jed, I started running track, and Jed invited me if I wanted to come.
Sweet. So you came by invitation.
Yeah.
So invite your friends. Pays off.
You're welcome.
All right. What was it? Was there a particular? You came by invitation, but is there any other reasons that played into like why you decided to come to Lift, to church? Was there anything in particular that you're like, okay, I'm going to take this step. I'm going to go to church with my friends. Anything that you were like, okay, I'm going to do this? Was there anything in particular?
Yeah. I was just kind of looking for a change in life and something like Christ have like a fall back on and like have somebody there for me and just have a life-changing experience.
Okay.
I really needed it.
Cool. All right, so Dillon and I have talked a little bit about this before, so some background. But I know that you have really, since coming here and getting involved in Lift and getting involved in our student ministry here, you've really began to develop a heart for new people who come to church because you had that experience. Why is it that you began to develop, that you feel like you kind of developed a heart for new people who come to church? What do you think?
I mean, I think the people that start coming like randomly at points in their time are usually the ones that need it the most. Not that the people that have been going their whole lives don't need the help too, but like people that come here as like a final chance, I think they need the most welcoming, and they usually need it the most.
Dillon and I go to breakfast at this really awesome place called Colby's all the time. You haven't been to Colby's, you check it out.
Oh,
it's a really sweet hole in the wall breakfast
just
joint.
you and Dillon? Okay.
Chuck goes sometimes as well.
Okay.
Tanner, uninvited, sometimes shows up there. I'm kidding, we love you, Tanner. So when we've gone to breakfast several times, Dillon has mentioned that one of the reasons, and he mentioned this to me at Big Weekend, one of the reasons he really wanted to talk to you guys tonight, not just because he has a heart for new people, but because the reality is that he recognized in his life, and he's recognized through Scripture, that all of us have sinned. That we've all, as it tells us in Romans, we've all fallen short of the glory of God. And you've talked to me, and I want you to tell these guys how you have felt like sometimes because we have sinned and we have sin in our life, and there's things that are holding us back from God, that's a stumbling block for people coming to church. Explain what you mean by that when you've talked about how just we all need to recognize that, but that sometimes that's a stumbling block for us.
So in my case, like whenever I was first coming here, like I was really like nervous and anxious that like I assumed like nobody else like did bad or like everybody else was like perfect, because like I mean it sounds bad to say, but it's like a stereotype across all faiths that like everybody in that religion is like perfect and nobody makes mistakes. And so I was really scared that I was going to get judged really bad on my sins and like everything I've done in my past.
As we talked about this, the whole idea of sin being a stumbling block and forgiveness and acceptance was part of why you developed a heart for new people who are coming to church. Is there any specific reason that you that you can think of that you knew in your life, or a story or an experience that you've had, that because of the sin that was going on, that's what developed your heart for reaching out to new people? Like, you knew that people needed to experience forgiveness and acceptance.
I think the biggest thing is, like, you walk through, like, your hallways, like, all the time and seeing, like, kids smiling and just, like, talking. And my freshman year of high school, there was this kid, I don't want to say his name, but, like, I thought he was, like, super happy and just, like, all about joy, and, like, nothing was wrong in his life. And one day, like, we started talking, he just, like, bursted into tears and, like, so, like, he felt so bad and just, like, laid everything out on the table that he's done wrong for me. And he's gone to church his whole life and been baptized tons of times, just a dedicated follower. And I think it's just, like, forgotten a lot that, like, you're forgiven for everything you do. And it's just a big deal to me to, like, know that even the happiest people still have sin and need to get over it, and need to be reminded that anything, God's always forgiving you.
That's good. That's good. So, yeah. I know knowing Dillon's story a little bit, and he's kind of shared some of the pieces of that here, but for you, it was a matter of before you even felt loved and forgiven and accepted by God, you took that step of faith and came to a student ministry, and you experienced acceptance and forgiveness and grace and love in a student ministry. And eventually, because you had taken that step of faith and came to student ministry, you then felt the love and acceptance and forgiveness of God. Is that a fair assessment, correct? Like, you kind of came to church, and then from here you felt the love and acceptance of God. Is that fair?
Yes, it's very true.
Okay. So, just giving you a little bit of background on how I know Dillon's story there. But in Ephesians, I want to read this to you guys. It'll be on the screen. It says, Ephesians 4:31 through 32. It says, "Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another. Forgive each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." So, Dillon, my question to you is this: how do you think that this plays into the way that we treat each other and the sort of environment that we create for people here at church, not only for each other, but also for new people coming in?
Honestly, this verse, just like these two verses, honestly, just really speak to me. Because I think so many people get caught up in their lives and, like, who they are, and, like, forget about all the people in their past, and forget about everything, and forget about other people's feelings. And whenever, like, to God, like, we're all one, and we're all equal on every level.
In your view, how does that play into how we as a student ministry accept each other and get along? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that's just, like, a constant reminder that, like, everybody has their story, and everybody's, like, has a different story and a different plot and a different climax and everything in their life.
So about a year ago, I've been told that one of Dillon's big, bold prayers for our student ministry was that you wanted to see a lot of middle school guys start to become part of our student ministry. Is that true?
Yeah, we went from, like, 2 to 1, 2, 3.
Yes, a lot of them show up here frequently. Why? So, any particular reason why that was a big, bold prayer that was laid on your heart that you feel?
I mean, besides God just kind of calling to me, it kind of made it appear to me that, like, they're, like, the next generation coming up, and, like, they're going through so much in life and, like, so much change that they honestly need a ton. Like, these kids are, like, growing, about to go to high school or just starting middle school, and, like, they're, like, losing friends, gaining friends, and changing themselves. They just need all the help they can get. Super
important years of school, for sure. So along with that, because that was one of his prayers, one of the cool things about Dillon is that a lot of days throughout the week, once he gets out of school, we open our doors here every day at 2:45 for anybody to come hang out, but mostly it's Central Middle School kids across the street who come hang out. And a lot of times Dillon is here to hang out with them. I know that that's part of playing into your prayer, but any other particular reasons why you show up here consistently to hang out with middle schoolers?
I mean, first off, that's all because of Bill Crouch back there. That the middle school boys get
Resident evangelist in chief right there.
No, just like I said, like, I think I don't know what a lot of them go through at home, but I just always want to be a positive impact and always know that I'm here for them. Like, whenever Bray got up on the floor and gave his mom a testament, it was so hard for me not to cry, to see him grow so much in Christ. And just, like, know that I'm here for every single one of them. I just want them to know that, and know that this is a safe and fun place for them. They can be who they can be and be what they want.
That's awesome. I love that. It's perfect. So, yeah. You're on the prayer team, correct? Yes, okay. How did you start serving on the prayer team here at Lyft?
Wow.
Can you remember?
Yeah, it's been a while, seems like. But actually, I do remember exactly now that I think about it. So, what was it, like 2 or 3 summers ago, they had this idea to like start little groups to just things around the church. So we had a summer meeting and started talking about what all we should do and what all we should, I don't know, start like bringing to the table and like start doing for everyone and get everybody involved. And I was like, and you gotta choose which one you signed up for. And like part of the reason I went into prayer is because I didn't like really know a lot about it and like how it worked and everything that went into it. And so I signed up for it. I got into it as a learning experience, but I later found out it's like a life-changing experience for me and everybody that I pray for.
Very cool. So prayer team's become an important part of your experience here at Lyft for sure.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest deals to me probably in my life.
That's awesome. I've been looking at your story and your journey here at Lyft. Started out as a visitor, but because you felt welcomed here and then accepted and not rejected and not judged, even though you were bringing stuff to the table that all of us have our own junk in our lives. You stayed here, felt loved and accepted here, and eventually that led to you joining the prayer team over time. So can you talk about how being on the prayer team has shaped your view of our student ministry and shaped your view of church in general?
It's definitely changed how I view the church as a whole, because it just like shows me again like as like followers of Christ, like we're all supposed to come together as brothers and sisters under His name and supporting one another. And it's just another thing it's done is it's just like even though like a lot of people don't know this, like I pray for almost everybody in this room. It's like just nice to like hear that silent like backbone. It's like keeping them up, and especially whenever their prayers get answered. It's just amazing to see it happen. Everything go their way.
It's cool to see those check marks show up on the wall over here. So by the way, if you put a prayer on the wall and God's moved in your life in any way, feel free to grab one of the check marks, put it up so we know that God's moving in your life. That's really cool. So I want to back up to one of the answers that you just said. You said you signed up to join the prayer team, not even really knowing that much about prayer. So I think one really cool thing about that is, as you guys hear about these different student leadership teams that we have here, know that it's not something that you have to be an expert in to join. We want you to join no matter where you're at in your walk with Christ, no matter where you're at in your time here at Lyft. Like we want you're the brick and mortar. You're what makes it up. So Dillon joined the prayer team just as an opportunity to learn more about prayer. And as a result, he's had the opportunity to pray for many of your guys' prayer requests. So that's really cool. And it's grown him in his own faith. Okay, so last 2 questions. What is some things that you would like to see happen? You're a senior, going to be going off to college. Hopefully we keep you around as a volunteer and we'll put you to work for sure. But what sort of things would you like to see happen in our student ministry between now and when you leave and beyond?
I would like to see not more people as a whole, but just more people get even like better relationships with Christ and everybody in here. To see like more friendships come together and like all these guys. Like I assume they all hang out outside of church and stuff. That's just one of the big things I've noticed.
Okay, well, along with that, so the last question is, it kind of goes hand in hand. Any particular bold prayers that you would have for us, like something that's on your heart, or that you would be like, hey, this is something I think that our student ministry should begin to boldly pray? Anything? Because like for you, a couple years ago, it was praying for middle school guys to show up. God answered that prayer in a big way. Anything new on your heart?
Yeah, just all coming together as like one giant place. Like not being known as like middle school boys, middle school girls, just like everybody's known together. And
Awesome.
Amen.
I love it. All right, Dylan, will you pray for us?
yes.
Mr. Prayer Team.
Just thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for giving everybody in this place like a safe place to come practice your word and just be with you. I just thank you for every single person in here, and I just hope that you keep bringing people in and just turn their lives upside down just like you did for me. I just hope that you keep watching over Brett and Alyssa as they keep just doing the best they can, and they still are doing amazing. I'm just so thankful for everything you've done for everybody in our lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.